Data today is an ecosystem, and as I mentioned, it has exploded. The number of products, the amount of information about each of those products, the number of sellers, the sales channels, apps, but also proprietary systems, so proprietary identifiers. However, the expectation is to have everything connect seamlessly. With a growing number of data producers and data consumers, because we see them as data providers and data recipients, the distribution of data is increasingly open. While this evolution has created lots of potential value, it has also shown that there are shortcomings in our product data foundations. Providing core product data is now critically essential to commerce. However, the fundamental way information is captured, stored, and shared dates back to 50 years ago, almost with the rise of the GTIN, formerly known as the EAN code. Data sharing solutions and data quality initiatives that have tried to keep pace are quite fragmented. So it is increasingly complicated for brand owners and retailers to manage that quality and the completeness of that data. It's very difficult as well and complicated to connect the data management systems with service providers that use proprietary content and with standard-based GDSN data pools. It's likewise difficult to handle different proprietary data exchange ecosystems, and there's an increased request or need for content differentiation across data recipients. An online marketplace, for example, will present a product in a different way than the physical retailer will, or the provider of an app, for example, that focuses on information about allergens. As opposed to what many may believe, there is no one way to verify a product's identity today. And as a result, much of the product data feeding the ecosystem is compromised. Why? Because we see that individual products could have multiple identifiers or have an invalid identifier. Multiple products could use the same identifier, and product data is often incomplete, or in some cases, it doesn't follow the interoperable standards. So this is of course an issue. Now, consumers need complete and valid product data to make the right decision to buy a product. However, today, this inaccurate product data can move very fast, almost faster than the data can follow, and brands and retailers have hardly any control over this. In the information economy, consumer trust and loyalty are at stake. So from lost sales to potentially unsafe products, counterfeit goods, the lack of product integrity in our data ecosystem is often a liability for companies of all sizes, small and larger ones. Our product data is simply not up to scale. Speed and agility are demanded by today's consumers, and in a lot of cases, we can't give it. So this is why collaboration is key. Without this collaboration, many companies would not have survived the side effects of the recent pandemic. It is essential now that we all learn from this and continue and ideally intensify the collaboration with business partners across the value chain. Now, as Capgemini mentioned in a report called A New Way to Serve, and you will see a QR code here, so if you want to scan it and read it, you can do so. So they have said very recently also at the GS1 Industry and Standards event, the digital journey of the product is relying very heavily on collaboration across the entire value chain. I have added the QR code as you saw here, so if you want to check it, you can do so. The level of collaboration goes beyond the pure between more than the pure upload of product information by data providers and the use by the data recipients. It's much more dynamic environment involving commercial data, as you see here, supply chain data, health data, and very important, more recently also for consumers, the data about a product's sustainability. So this is why Capgemini concluded that GS1 has the let me just click over here. Yes, that GS1 has the opportunity to improve collaborative data standards so that the data can be shared from the supplier to the manufacturer, to the retailer, to the consumer, sometimes even directly from the manufacturer to the consumer, to tell data stories that better serve the consumer. On this slide here, we see some findings. It's already findings from 2 years ago, but they're still important to see. These are figures by an e-commerce search engine, which is based in the UK, and based on the data of 745 million UK products. And this led to the CEO and founder to conclude what you see on the left-hand side. So out of those 745 million UK products, 34% were products that had one GTIN. So this is the ideal situation. What is less ideal is that 23 had multiple products with the same GTIN. 42% had no GTIN in the e-commerce data feed, so it didn't mention any GTIN. So that's almost half. And then 1% had products with multiple or invalid GTINs, which led at that back in the time, before we started the whole Verified by GS1 and the product digital journey, is that the GTIN should be foundational in this to compare products and prices accurately. But it's very difficult because there's no single source of truth. On the right-hand side, you see two quotes from a large, what is it, a consumer, it's a solution provider that provides shoppers buying experiences, where they said that you will still find today incorrect product detail pages on retailers and distributor websites. Sometimes it's completely the wrong product. So imagine you're a consumer and you want to buy that product, you get something wrong delivered at home, you have to return it, extra costs and extra frustration for everyone. On the other hand, when a product is disconnected from its GTIN, the trading partners lose the ability to verify whether the information is accurate or up to date. Yeah. So this is the reason why GS1, in a joint effort with the Consumer Goods Forum, has engaged in an ambitious plan called the Product Digital Journey. You see here 3 fundamental pillars for this journey, and taking the necessary steps to implement these 3 pillars will ensure that the products that will be presented in the digital world in the same way as they are in the physical world. Now it starts with the unique identification through a GS1 GTIN, which will enable to connect the products to the accurate information right from the start. Then by registering a basic set of information about that product, brands create an ID card that can be used by retailers or marketplaces to verify the identity of that product. And thirdly, it's about the expanded, richer product information that will be shared between the trading partners and ultimately reach that consumer. And this is what we call the GS1 global data model. In the next slides, I will focus on the second pillar, which is Verified by GS1. So what does Verified by GS1 stand for? What does it verify? Now, it's a global solution that enables primarily data recipients to verify the identity of a product. And if we talk about data recipients, we talk not only about retailers, marketplaces, but so many more, by querying the GS1 registry platform. Now, we see, I said retailers and brands and marketplaces, but there are so many more, as you will see in a few examples later on. So these 6 core product attributes next to the GTIN will be shown when you query a GTIN number in the Verified by GS1 service. These are the brand name, the product description, the product image, URL, the global product category, net content, and the unit of measure, and the country or countries of sale. All of these give the product a digital identity in the similar way as you would have an identity card as a person, which provides a few elements to add to the identity of a person. Yeah. Now, how does it work? I'm not going too much into detail, but basically it's the brand owners that will upload the 7 attributes, so the GTIN plus the 6 core attributes through a GS1 MO and in various ways to the GS1 registry platform. And on the other hand, the data recipients will query this information using various ways. Now, the local GS1 member organization where the GTINs are licensed will support the upload of that data in the most efficient way. It can be uploaded in different ways through a GUI, API, GDSN, mainly through API. Usually they will select or they will favor one or the other solution. Now, what is the status? In a nutshell, today, and this is information from today, the data in, so the data upload and the data queries, the data checks, out of the GS1 registry platform, or GRP in short. On the data inside, we see that currently 53 countries, so 53 GS1 member organizations, local organizations offer an Activate grade key issuance service, which allows all of the members of that country to share their GTINs with the GRP. And today, this GRP, today it's 141.5 million GTINs loaded. On the data outside, we have currently 29 countries that offer the Verified by GS1, so the opportunity to check in the system for all of the 141 million GTINs and their attributes. And how is it used? So far, we have 83 million. This is an information from today. GTINs that were queried, with August and September really having very strong months, with 20 to 22 million GTINs that have been queried, which is 3 times more than the months before. This is thanks to the great work that the GS1 MOs have done, but also the result of an increased engagement and in general acceleration of activities in many countries, also with the help of the consumer goods for members. Now, let me do a check. So in short, what would I do if I check the GS1 registry platform using Verified by GS1? Well, first of all, it will provide me with the answer to the main question, which is this the product I think it is? Or that the seller claims it is. Here we see the image of a well-known brand. It's breakfast cereals. If I search and verify by GS1 using the product's GTIN, this is the result of the query. And it answers following questions. Is the GTIN valid? Is it properly structured? Yes, it is. Is the GTIN licensed to a known party, and whom is it licensed to? You see here it's registered to Kellogg Company. Does the GTIN exist in the GRP? Yes, because you see all of the information here. Is the GTIN record complete with all 7 attributes? Yes, you see this at the little logo on the left-hand side, the GS1 with the green check, and show me all of the available information of the 7 core attributes. Now, you have the same product, but sold in India to the Indian market. The only thing that will change is the registry number, the registry party, the net content, because the unit of measure is not ounces, but grams. And the country of sale in this case will be India and not the United States of America. Now, in some cases, you will have, this is what can happen. You search for data and this is the result. So this was a check that I have done personally because it's a product I use. So if the brand has not yet, the brand owner, the manufacturer has not yet uploaded data from the specific region. As mentioned, this is work in progress, and we're growing and increasing and performing the whole system. So despite the absence of a complete GTIN record with all the attributes, the information that we see here is not useless at all. Why? Because it shows, it still answers 3 out of the 4 questions we see in an earlier slide. So is it structured? Yes. Is it known party? Yes. To whom has it been licensed? You see it's Kellogg Europe Trading. The only thing that is missing is the GTIN details. Yeah, this is information that, for example, marketplaces already use today before they list new products on their site. So it's really helpful to anyone having at least the licensee name of that GTIN. So if you're interested to know more about how companies around the world, be they brand owners, retailers, marketplaces, or even tax authorities, have started using the Verified by GS1 service, I invite you to check them out on our global webpage for Verified by GS1. You can read the QR code here again, and it will direct you to the same page. Now, one case in particular I'm highlighting here, it's from a marketplace that most of you will know because it's present in the Bulgarian market. It's a testimonial from by eMAG, which is a regional marketplace today selling 34 million products from 30,000 sellers in 2,000 categories to consumers mainly in Central and Eastern Europe. Now, the problem, what was the problem for them? Duplicate product listings, incorrect associations, invalid brands, concerns about counterfeits and IP infringements. So eMAG saw it all in the early years of their marketplace, and the marketplace has grown, and so did the number of sellers, and not only from the area around, but they have global suppliers now. So since late 2019, sellers must now properly obtain and indicate a GS1 GTIN for almost all of new product categories. And eMAG uses Verified by GS1 to authenticate them before the listing is approved. Today, through the use of Verified by GS1, validated identification streamlines the listing process for eMAG and reduces the exposure to counterfeits, which will give shoppers on their sites the confidence in the products that they are buying. But we also have other testimonials, not going into detail here, but we have Mercado Libre, for example, which is an extremely popular e-commerce site in Latin America with hundreds of millions of users on how they have started using Verified by GS1. Again, based on the product identity, knowing who the owner of that is already helps them to list products. Then we have another one from an online grocery company in India called Big Basket. You see that they have reduced the catalog errors by 80%. And we have the famous brand of breakfast cereals that I showed a bit earlier on. And we have more to come soon. Now, I hope I've been able to convince you of the importance of the data and how GS1 has started to support the industry across the world to address these challenges. My name is Enцo Blonk. You see here the full Verified by GS1 team at GS1 Global Office. In my name, and in the name of the Verified by GS1 team and the name of GS1 Global Office, and I think that Francesca will repeat that in a few seconds, I would like to say Благодаря.
Yeah, Enzo, thank you very much for this interesting presentation. Искам да кажа, че България е една от тези 53 страни и по-специално GS1 България, която също предлага тази услуга Activate. И всъщност за фирмите е необходимо да попълнат данните в продуктовия каталог, който е пряко свързан с глобалната платформа от регистри, съответно Activate услугата и Verified. Също така ние сме в тясно партньорство и с EMAX за България, като консултираме фирмите, които искат да листват теми, да листват продукти в тези платформи. Една от темите по-късно днес също е посветена на този вид. Thank you very much again.
Благодаря и аз. Сега виждам сред нашите участници онлайн председателя на GS1 в Европа и изпълнителен директор на GS1 Австрия, Грегор Херцог. Ще се радваме да чуем вашето обращение.
So I guess the floor is mine, isn't it? Hello?
Hello, it's fine.
Yeah, fine. Well, first, hello to everybody. Hello, Mr. Simeonov, and hello, Zveta. I'm happy to be with you, and congratulations to your 30th anniversary. I'm very sorry that I joined a little bit later, but I had some technical difficulties. I would like to express that I think it's fascinating when I go through your program of today, that Bulgaria is ready for another 30 years of success, I would say. And why do I say this? When we go through your program, I see that you are transferring GS1 Bulgaria from an identification company into an identification and data sharing organization. And I think this is very important because when we talk about transactional data or electronic data interchange, when we talk about master data in a way Enzo did this before, And if we talk about traceability event data, we are talking about a very important pillar of activities for the coming years. And I'm not saying this only in the B2B sector, but also, and Francesca will elaborate on this a little bit later, about public policy, what we are confronted with as EU member states, because the European Union is committed to circular economy, to what they call Green Deal. And for that, one of the prerequisites for the Green Deal, for being able to recycle and keep in the cycle products, it's information. It starts with identification, and then we need to share information on the product, on how the product is made, who made it, and things like that. And this is what I think, and I want to congratulate you on that. You are heading in the right direction. You're really trying to gather data, to share data amongst the companies, and in the future, probably also with the authorities, be it on the European level or on the national level. So this is what I can contribute as the chair of GS1 in Europe, and as colleague, as CEO of GS1 Austria, I would like to say that we have a very close relationship with GS1 Bulgaria. It's a very specific and special relationship, because over the years we have exchanged on many fields, be it barcode quality, be it also your master data activities, transferring know-how between us, our two organizations. So we are almost neighbors. There are some countries in between Austria and Bulgaria, but still we feel very close. And I hope that we will even intensify our excellent relationship in the next years to come. Thank you very much.
Dear Gregor, thank you very much too. We are very happy. Thank you for the kind words, and we are very happy to have you as our mentors and to have this opportunity to exchange experience and ideas with GS1 Austria.
Благодаря и аз. Сега имам удоволствието да дам думата на вторият ни говорител в панела на конференцията, госпожа Франческа Поджали, директор по обществени политики към GS1 в Европа. Тя ще представи какви са тенденциите в Data Excellence и какви са европейските политики. Заповядайте.
Thank you so much. And thank you, my dear friends, colleagues from GS1 Bulgaria. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, dear Sveta, for having me as well. And I now had a perfect introduction by Gregor. He already expressed what is going on at European level. I will go a little bit deeper because we see a challenge here. I see a challenge here, yes, absolutely. And so it was worth to share this with you today in such an important day, because you've been so visionary in the last 13 years that it's important that you see this for the next 30, as Gregor said. And this is connected to what also my colleague Enzo presented, but this is coming from the external authorities, while Enzo, focus more on what we are already doing in GS1, in our big community. But I'm giving you the flavor of what the European Union is willing to do now. And you know about this big goal by 2050, all the European member states will need to help the entire region to become climate neutral by 2050. And if you just look at this like that, you would immediately say, oh, but what's in it for me in GS1, right? Well, to meet that ambitious goal, the European Union issued the EU Circularity Plan, which consists of 35 legal acts, new legislative measures that will cover the sectors where we have always been active for product identification, product data capturing, and data sharing. So they are issuing legislation in order to make those sectors and those companies going greener, but through a very important instrument, which is the product passport. So basically, green means identification. So this is the main message that we want to share with all our member organizations. Green doesn't only mean something that companies may do in their plans outside what they do with us in GS1. Actually, for companies to become greener, they will need our help on product identification, because, as you will see in the next slide, basically the European Union is going towards a place where all the safety requirements that are already included in legislation, the new green requirements, and the digital infrastructures need to be all together reconvened in one single tool, which is the product passport, the new EU green and digital product passport. So this is a challenge, and Gregor is such a great ambassador. He's being in all meetings with the European Commission, with the European Parliament as well, in order for them to understand our added value as GS1 community. In the next slide, I pointed out that also the data strategy of the European Union is clearly setting the rules on some of the identification for products and also on the data sharing. So, for instance, there is one concept in the data strategy of the European Union which is very important for all of us. It's the data altruism principle. So product data is helping citizens, businesses, and companies and all stakeholders to embrace a more active presence in the stakeholders community. Access to data is becoming very, very important in Europe and is linked to what the citizens and the companies and the NGOs can do. So it's linked to a new right. This is the right to access product data for data altruism principles. And it has been enshrined in this EU data strategy and in the regulations that followed. But if we go to the next slide, I wanted to show you also the fact that the data infrastructure for the product data is being prepared by the European Union through the data spaces. You should imagine them as big places or clouds where all the product passports will be reconciled into different silos. But the good news is that the European Union looks very open to having interoperable data spaces, which will then need one common language. And we hope this common language would be the GS1 unique identifiers and the GS1 rules for product identification. In the next slide, I try to summarize a little bit what's in it in this digital product passport. Because all these big goals that I show you, so the circular economy, the big data strategy in European Union, it's all being reconducted into this digital product passport. So products will need to carry passports. And in some cases, those passports will need to be permanently attached to the products. This is the way that the European Union thinks this could enable circularity, because if you don't know the products, it will be very difficult to make the products greener and supply chains circular. So they understood the product identification is really at the center of the green economy, of the digital transition of companies. And so what's in it in the digital product passport? Let's see. The next slide really answers to three questions. What's in it, and how will it be shared? So I guess I covered already what is it. It should contain product data, attributes linked to sustainability, circularity, and the value or attention of raw materials, because as the United Nations keep on saying, the raw materials are not infinite. We need to manage them in a different way. And so having the data attributes connected to the product passport, reconciling the products to the green impact is very important, and this is what is at stake. How it will be shared, those discussions are still open. We hope that they will go for a decentralized data system instead of a centralized one. This legislation, because the product passport will be included in an act, in an official act of the European Union, this will be part of the Eco-Design Directive, and the national member states will be getting more and more involved, including Bulgaria. Of course, your authorities will have national discussions about the product passport. This will be happening around spring next time, where the next year, where the European Commission will publish the proposal. So it's very important that GS1 Bulgaria embraces this challenge and be able to speak locally with your stakeholders, with your government about this new legislation that is coming. Because, and this is the timeline, so of course the slides are available. I'm not commenting more on the timeline, but I'm eager to go to the next slide, which shows also the definition of this product passport, which is, as I told you, a data structure that should be permanently attached to each individual physical item, and it should contain a unique identifier for the item, of course. So we are doing our best with the chairman, with all of you, with the GS1 in Europe community, to make sure that this unique identifier could be the GTIN, so that the GT can enable also this digital and green transition at European level. In the next slide also, I'm giving you more details about the product, the data set that should be linked to this green and digital product passport. So as you can see, this is not just master data. It's about, of course, master data, but also some event data, and also probably in the future, transactional data. So this should be all included all at once in this product passport. And the first sector that has already been implemented this is the battery sector, the batteries, the industrial batteries, the electrical vehicle batteries. And this is why GS1 in Europe and GS1 Global signed an MOU with the Global Battery Alliance, exactly because we want to be next to the companies that are already facing these challenges now, immediately now. In my next slide, which it's really my last one. So there are some concrete next steps, and I hope you can play your part as you've always been doing. Also now on the circular and digital transition, well, the EU will launch it very soon, as I said, in March 2022. Your government will also be involved in the discussions. I hope you will find a way and the strength with your board members to really position the GS1 systems, the GS1 system value proposition in these discussions at Bulgarian level. So I remain available, of course, for any questions. The slides are, of course, at your disposal. And of course, we will discuss this also during the next board and the GS1 Regional Forum, which is really now approaching next month. Thank you.
Благодарим на госпожа Поджали за информацията, която предостави за зеления дигитален паспорт на продуктите, както и за това какво ни очаква следващата година по отношение на европейското законодателство в тази област. Във втория панел на днешната конференция ще бъдат представени добри практики за приложение на стандартите на GS1 в водещи компании в България. Имам удоволствието да дам думата на госпожа Даниела Щилянова от Бела България АД. Тя ще ни разкаже за осигуряването на проследимост чрез логистични етикети и електронен обмен на данни. Заповядайте.
Здравейте!
Здравейте!
От името на Бела България. Много професионални успехи ви пожелаваме от страна на бизнеса и от страна на Бела. Имам удоволствието да ви представя презентацията на тема осигуряване на проследимост и електронен обмен на данни. Кои сме ние? Бела България е водещ представител на хранителната индустрия